Greetings, miners. Nonsanity here, and welcome to episode 2 of Sandustry. Alright, right where we left off. And what was next? Alright, we've got our burnt slag. And we don't have any more money, but I did get some other things. So one of the things I want to talk about are filters. So I've got filters on 7. And when I hit 7, you get a little box here, a little dialogue. Two options are, one is to allow only the selected element through, and the other one is to block the selected element and allow everything else through. And then we have every type of solid material particle in the game. So let's take a look at burnt slags. We got it right here. Place this down, and it's horizontal only, just like the conveyor belts. And you place it, it's got a direction. You can just barely see the animation. It's going this direction. And if I put some burnt slag on it, it's going to fall right through because I selected burnt slag. Now, if I get some of this regular slag here, grab some of that, and put that on there, it moves along as if it was a regular conveyor belt. And you can connect these to each other or to other conveyor belts, and stuff will move right along. But if you put the material that's designed to go through it, it just falls right through it. Now you notice it doesn't fall super fast. If I drop some here and I drop some here, you see it got slowed down. Not only does it get slowed down, but it gets spread out a little bit. And that's useful for some other things. But we're going to be using this. Oh, one other thing about it. Let me bring it back up here. And we'll do the burnt slag again. Actually, let's do regular slag with it, since we've got more of that. So slag. And I'm going to, for demonstration purposes, put a block in the way. Alright, so let's get some slag on the belt. Get a nice big pile here. And sort of a little flat section over here. There we go. Alright, let's get some slag. We place it on the belt. You see it falls right through and out the bottom. That's exactly what the filter is supposed to do. It separates the two materials. But it does have a limitation. And that is, and let's try and flatten this a little bit. This is a spot to put. There we go. So let's get the slag again and put it up here, and well, the stuff that rolled off the sides went through, but the stuff up here is not going through. What gives? Well, the filters only work in this area here, the same as the height of a block. They only will move material that is this close. So if I take a little bit of this, a little bit more, and I'm sort of bringing the slag a little lower. Or I think it's right at, yeah, it's that one is just above. Get a little bit more, and some of it starts to fall through. If I keep taking a little bit out the bottom, eventually all the slag comes within range and gets pulled through. There it went. So there's the limitation on the filters is they only work for one block's height. So remember when I said you could have one belt with just huge piles of stuff? The filters won't take things out of the entire pile, only the bottom layer. That is why I'm using multiple belts. So let me demonstrate how it's going to work. I want to get wet sand into here. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do 9. 9 is probably enough. I'm going to put one of these on each. So these will all let wet sand through. And I'll connect them up. Oops. Now, if I have some material on it that is not wet sand, they all go through. And if there's any wet sand mixed in, it's going to fall through and fall through and fall through and come down into this box. Except there's one more limitation. And I need to sort of prep it here. Let me get a whole bunch of this here. Let's see if we can get some wet sand as well. So you notice I'm filling the entire space here with the burnt slag. And let's get some wet sand. Get some from this little pit here. There we go. It'd be nice when I can fly faster again. I'll place that there and stop it. Let's get that down in there too. All right, so got some material. Sometimes if you place material in the filter, it gets stuck in there. Not sure what's up with that. All right, so if I release these two blocks, these are going to move forward. And actually, let's bring the dirt a little farther back so I've got a bit more time. So the dirt's going to come onto here and it's going to fall through this filter. And then the question is, will it fall through the next filter? And go. Well, it is this time. Well, thanks for not doing what I expected you to do, sand. Basically, what sometimes happens is this is completely packed, and it wasn't a big enough raft of material. It sort of pushed it out of the way. Plus, the dirt is heavy. That was it. The dirt. I keep saying dirt. I keep saying dirt. The sand is heavier, so it pushes its way through. That's why it worked. Sorry. I should have used a different material. Let's see here. Get all this before it goes off the end. Here. Go back in the box. What I need to do is use some regular slag, which has the same density. So this is only a problem with things of the same density. Here, I used a denser material, and that won't show what I want to show. All right, so slag. Turn all of these to... Whoop, missed one. I'm holding down Control to replace. All right, now I'll get some slag, which has the same density and won't push its way through. All right, go. Better do what I want to show. Yeah, there we go. See, it's falling into the filter, but it can't get through this next layer. Now, as soon as it gets to the end, it's going to get bunched up there, and this end will come along, and it'll eventually fall through. There it goes. As soon as there's a little bit of room for it to fall in, but some got through. So basically, I want to make it so that it never gets completely full like this, because that'll cause things to start backing up. And there's an easy way to fix this, and that is the tops of launchers facing in the direction of flow, like this. And I don't need to put them on the top conveyor because their purpose is just to shake and make space for stuff above to fall down. So let's go ahead and set up the test again. Make another little solid raft of material here. And then get some same density slag. Why can't I? There's that bug again. Sometimes it does let me pick up two different materials. And I definitely had two different materials there. Strange how that sometimes happens. It's not supposed to. All right. Here we go. This, you see, as it hits them, it shakes them and makes a little bit of a gap, and right away, everything falls through. It's a perfect multi-band filter. I say perfect, it's statistical, but making it this long is probably very, very, very rare that anything's going to make it through. All that stuff fell out in the first two spaces. So I think it's pretty good. I was running with 11 instead of 9. But I think 9 is going to be enough. Because I never saw things go. Even 9 is probably too much. Could probably make it even shorter. But usually that's more than enough space. Because I want wet sand to come in here in this section. So let me go ahead and change this back to wet sand. Because that's what I want to come in here. But I also want slag to come in here, if any is on the conveyor belt. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And burnt slag can come in here as well, because this is where it goes. There shouldn't be any on the conveyor belt. But if there is, I want it to come in here. And now I'll use the copy tool. It's copying the filters as well. But you see there, those are red because there's already something there. If I hold down Control, no, it doesn't want to copy those. Yeah, some things the Control can't replace with a copy. But those it will, and it's only copying the launchers. I call these the agitators. They shake the belt enough to let things come through with the filters. This looks different. There we go. And I was thinking, I probably don't need... Actually, let's go ahead and increase the heights of all these things a little bit. Let's double each of these, because as the piles get bigger, I want them to still move forward. Because as it is, oops, it will only shift the tops of piles as long as they're below. Like, it's not doing anything with this pile because it's too tall. And here it's trying, but it's got an uphill battle there. But if I give them some more height, then they can work a little farther along. See? And we'll just leave these two the way they are. Oh, and here's stuff that went off the end of the belts up above. All right, so now we've got filters. And I'm going to put some more over here. When we're down in the mines, sometimes we will come across snow. And if the snow came up here and fell into the water, it would create ice. So to prevent that, I am going to filter snow right here. And this is a, oops, facing the wrong way. This is a little smaller space, but that should be fine. There's usually not a ton of snow. But that should get all of it. And another material, I should connect down here. And I usually like putting conveyor belts. And I won't put it at the bottom. I'll put it up to like here. I like putting conveyor belts in my containers, usually at the bottom. But I want to have a little bit of room, just in case. Another one is cinder. I won't have a lot of it, but when I get it down there, I might put it on the belts and send it up. And I just want to have it get diverted into a small chamber. I won't have a lot of it, so this will be more than enough room. Okay, save a little time. There we go. How are we for water? It's getting low, which is fine. I actually want to run out of water. So let's go get some more sand. We'll continue the building here. And I'm going to go like that. And as I did before, I'm going to extend some launchers way down below the ground. And I put that one's top is facing the wrong direction. There we go. Put them way down there so as I mine, they go in the right way. And we'll leave it at, no, let's do one more. Sort of impacting that bit of ice there, which I can melt, but I'm not going to quite yet. All right, a little bit more mining. Again, I want to use the layout of my holes to help funnel material into this channel. Looks like we have some more fluxite buried around in these walls, so we'll get some of that. If we can get up to 500, my mining will go a little bit faster. Oh, I just remembered I forgot something. There was one more filter I wanted to put into place. And it's sort of important if we're trying to run out of water. Because as we get lower on water, there'll be a chance that we suck up some dry sand up this column. And it will definitely happen once we run out of water. And I don't want it to go off into the system. So let's make a space here for it to fall back down. So we want sand to come down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we'll do 11 for this one. Since that fits more nicely into this space. And I will copy these agitators. And make another copy since it's a little bit longer here. There we go. Whoops. There, so any dry sand comes up, it'll fall back out, back down into the water. And we've got leakage here. Now I could extend these arms all the way down, but at some point we're going to have more water. And they do block water, and they still have water on one side, not on the other. I've found that using, let's do allow only snow through. So this will create a barrier, because these filters work from the side too. Only snow will be able to enter the sides of these blocks. So for everything in the lift, it'll act like a solid wall and they won't be able to fall out. There shouldn't be any snow in here because we already are filtering that out here. But even if there is, I'm facing these all inwards. So any snow that gets into them will get pushed into the column and go up. Where it goes after that, there won't really be anywhere for it to go. I'm not going to make another snow filter, so it'll probably come all the way back around and end up down here again, which is a goal. I didn't check if every single one of these are facing the right direction, but let's assume that they are. Now, and to keep this from doing that again, I'm going to chop some down here. That's good. And make a ramp. Oops. Oh, I hate when that happens. Gotta start all over. See. Yeah, this can go to about there. It's actually one of the things I want to do. So like I said, we've got this vent over here. It's going to be doing the same thing. I want to vent upwards. So let me do a little bit of construction. Oop. Sometimes hard to do the building while flying and hit the right spots. A little too high. Come back down. So this is a way to have steam coming up this side of the mountain. Because, and this is, I hadn't explained this in the last video because we hadn't really gotten to steam yet, but we can make it now that we have the flamethrower. Oh, we've reached the top. All right, so I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think that is where I want to go. And actually, let's make a little bit, and then we'll go, no. I'll come up like that. A little chimney, because this is where the steam goes and it'll turn into rain. Now if I measure this right, this should connect with the other one that I drew on the other side. Let's see if I got it right. In watching the first video, I think I made an extra block. I did. All right. I was counting my counting and it was wrong. Doesn't matter for the gold bin. We can leave it as it is. But this, at this level, the steam will come up. It will not turn into rain here. It has to go up a little bit higher. It will rain out if a steam particle is all by itself for a while. It'll turn back into water. But as long as you've got a large amount of steam coming up, it will not turn into rain until it reaches this spot, some higher point over here. There we go. All right, so that'll be the rain, and then the rain will come down and be on the outside of this line. So that is our steam chimney. Let's fall down. And we're not. Oh, yeah, we are ready. Look, we're out of sand or out of water. Good. So I'm now going to seal this off, like so. And I guess I should let all the material that's down there out. There we go. I can seal this off. Why do I want to do that? Well, that's because over here is another place where steam can come out. And I want to make that... Oh, I should have made this a little different. Can I move? Why can I? There you go. Oh, because I wasn't in hover mode. That's why I was running into a wall. So bring that over like that. So now I can make this hole. So there's a place for the steam to come out of that other hole. Whoops. And connect up with the rest of the steam. And I'm going to make, not there. I want a little extra chamber here. Like that. And I saw I knocked a piece out. I'll fix that. All right, and this will connect up here. So this is going to be a place where I can make more steam myself, and it'll go out and join the rest. All right, now we're ready for more water. So let's get out our flamethrower and burn our way through this. And there's some steam. There's our first steam, and it's going to head on up. And I cannot get up there fast enough to chase it. But you saw where it was going to go. It was going to go up, and it was going to touch the sky, and it should rain back down along this ramp as water. Any moment now. There it is. We have some water. Let's go make more. So anywhere I find steam down here, or where I find water, I can flamethrower it to turn it into steam and send it up. There are pipes in the tech tree right here, and I'm not that far away from being able to get them. But I found that this is a much faster way to get steam, especially when there's stuff like this. That looks like a Galton board, but in reverse and for gases. So all I do is boil the water, and up it goes. This is the sort of thinking from the developer that makes me excited about the final game. I sort of imagine boiling fluids and mixing things and following recipes in bulk. I see a lot of potential. And not doing that with like a single block that does all the work, but having to make structures that create combine the materials together in ways that are unique and varied. So I just like that concept. So I've got a lot of hope for what this game is going to turn into. But even right now, in its simple form, it is a lot of fun. Because look, we're emptying out these other chambers. We half emptied the first one there. Now the back one is emptying. Water flows very nicely through tiny little channels like that. Alright, we'll let that refill. We'll explore some more in here. Oh, look at this, fluxite. Looks like there's quite a bit of it. Good. Oh, we've got over 500. Let's go to weapons, rapid fire. Oh, that's better. Missed a spot. And some more fluxite out here. Alright, we seem to have come out somewhere farther underground. May not want to be down here yet. I'll assume that it connects to the rest. That seems like a pretty safe bet. So we'll get there when we're coming down with all of our mining elevators and have somewhere to send all the sand. Because if we come in through here, not sure which way to go. So we'll turn all this into steam and send it up so we can use it. The flamethrower does work better if I could fire horizontally through the water instead of straight down into it. I'd be hitting a lot more of it with the flame than just the tip here. If you've noticed the surface of the water getting sort of rough, that's because there's just not enough pixels of water in the top layer to completely fill it in. And so the pixels that are there are sort of jittering back and forth, making a rough water surface. You can see as the top layer gets thinner and thinner, you get just a few pixels, then it starts as holes in the next layer. And normally I would get every little bit of water there, but that last bit takes a while. You can grab steam. So you can get steam out of the little nooks and crannies it might collect in. This little bit of water here I cannot pick up, both because it's water and because it's underground. But I can torch it to steam. So here you can see the vent in action. And look how much water we've got up here now. So now we've got enough steam coming up, we can come up here and see what it's doing up in the sky. You can see why I did all these angles to try and keep it flowing. And I probably left a little bit more room than I need because it doesn't come up very thick here. But it's hard to hug this angle when you only have a 45-degree angle of block. Okay, so that's the water point right there. So I made it a little bit too tall. Do I want to fix it? Nah, it's fine. Alright, down we go. So now you can see that we've got just the right height here. Oh, but no, what I forgot was a conveyor belt. So let's put a conveyor belt here and one going in that direction. Actually, let's replace. Can I replace? I need to. I'm doing this because if I take this block away, water can go through a diagonal space. So I really need to fill it in first. Oh, no, I don't want it. Don't want that. I want conveyor belt there. All right, now I can take that water out. And it's solid. I'm not going to delete this one because then the water will come out through that gap. I will just replace it like that. There we go. And I cannot replace something like this that has water in it, so I have to delete it first. We'll dig it out. I should have done this before I let all the water and sand come down. Notice there's dry sand in the middle of the wet sand, but it should, should hydrate as it gets separated in the elevator. There we go. So now that washing pit is all set. And look at how much slag we've got over here. You know, it may be time to do our next stage, and that is in this section over here. The next step in the process in this demo is to use the kinetic slag press. Now this is a single block, but it comes with this green projection. So the block is down here, this guy right here, but it has this tall projection on top of it. Other things can go right through that. It's not solid. You don't want anything to go through it because of the way these things work. So let's put down a few here just so you can see what we're doing. If I take some burnt slag and I place it onto these kinetic presses, it just sits there. That doesn't work. If I drop it from a little higher, still nothing happens. To get these things to do their job, you have to be at least this high. But if I were to drop this right now, not all of it would make it through. Some of it got through, and it is gold and spores, which we will explore later. But some of it did not make it through. And that is because when you have an entire handful like this, and it's falling as a complete unit, when it hits the bottom, some of it starts to convert to gold and spores, and then more of it starts to convert. But while the gold and spores are going through the block, they're a little bit slowed, just like anything is slowed going through a filter. And so some of the slag coming down on top of it backs up and stops. And the only way for slag to make it through the filter is if it's been falling for this long. So if it hits the gold and spores coming out the bottom and backs up, it stops and it resets its fall, and then it doesn't have enough speed to get through. It doesn't have enough road to get up to 88. Let's put it that way. So the solution for this, and it's a fairly simple one, and it also makes it so that no other materials ever get through, is to put a filter for burnt slag at the top. Now when I drop a whole handful, it gets slowed down and spread out, and it's much less likely to get blocked. Now you can, just in case, add some launcher tops down in here. And then even if you don't have that, and we drop some, what doesn't make it through gets tossed off to the side. Now every now and then what you drop will hit these things just as they're pulsing, and it will abort a large chunk of what you were trying to get through. But most of the time, especially if you do put the filters up there, most of the time everything will get through. And it won't have a backup. And if it does have a backup, at least it will get tossed off to the side. That said, I don't always use these little launcher tops. But let me show you what I was doing. Let's go ahead and take the, oops, I think there's some spores in that pile. Yeah, there is. Let's go ahead and take the gold and send it off for storage. Look how much gold that was just from a couple handfuls of burnt slag. So imagine all this going through. This is going to be a good moneymaker. But we're going to have to get rid of these spores. So before I build this box, let's make something to store the spores. So, going to build an extension here to our conveyor belts. And for the moment, I'll just take it all the way to the end. And then I'm going to come up to the top here because this is the conveyor belt for the chambers down below. We're going to have some chambers up here too. And those will need an upper conveyor belt. And I'm going to leave a gap up there for any steam that comes up here and heads over. So I want all the water on that side. So the steam will come up here and go across the top, below the water line. And up here will be our other set of conveyors. There we go. So this one's going to connect to the top one. Second one, I need to hold down control. Okay, the third one to there. That one. And top row becomes the bottom row. And then just seal that part off. I don't need this line, but I'll add it just for visual sense. Same with this. It just makes it a little bit clearer where the entrances at the top of this chamber are. Alright, so we're going to be making spores in here. I want to get them up onto this line. So, alright, here's what I'm going to do. So imagine we've got more materials coming along here. We're probably not going to have much at this point because what comes up from the mine in large quantities is the wet sand, and that's all getting removed here. And if there's any slag or burnt slag, it's also getting removed. And these things are wide enough that all of it should go through. So the only stuff coming through here at this point might be spores that we might dig up down in the mine, red sand. That's about it. Red sand will probably be the most voluminous that comes up here later. It's not going to probably be filling the entire conveyor belt, but just in case something's full, when we bring up materials from below here, I want to punch through like that. Now if we have, just get some burnt slag here. Well, actually let's just use this stuff because it's going to fall right back to where it is. So if we got stuff coming along here, it's going to fall down, and it's actually going to go up there and make a mess, but that's fine. It'll fall before it gets a pulse, and then it'll get sent up. So I really don't want the stuff falling down here as much as possible. And I want to make sure if this line is completely full of something, like red sand, I still want room for these spores to be able to get into the system. So what I'm going to do is do a little compacting by means of some lifts like this. Oops, wrong direction. Alright, so what this does, anything on the top will come along, it might fall down, but then it's going to get thrown back up again. Anything on this row is going to try and get thrown up there if there's room. If not, it might fall back down. And it might fall down and come back up. Basically, these are going to start shifting the next to top row up, and then this one up, and then this one up, and then this one up. So if there's enough room, everything should be shifted to the top 4 rows, and not much, if anything, should be in this bottom row, so that this last column, which is the bottom row's vertical column, can be completely taken over by these spores. And, oops, here's where they landed. So there we've got spores going back into the system. So let's see about taking care of... Oh, wait, we can't do it quite yet. Not the way I want to. And that's because we don't have lava. Let's go on a lava hunt. How are we for money? Pretty good. Let's see. Let's buy that for 500. Oh, just a little bit shy. You know, we can do this sort of manually here. Let's do a filter for gold and replace the floor in there. And just get a couple kinetic slag presses and some burnt slag filters. And just hand process a little bit of this burnt slag to get a bit more gold. I don't need much. Looks like about 70. How many is 70 pixels visually? I'm probably getting way more than that. Yeah, because I think like 3 handfuls. I think each handful is a 5 by 5 group. So that's probably more than enough. I'll do a little bit more. Shh, don't tell anybody. We're getting a good bit of spores here. Oh yeah, I should make the place to put the spores. For that, I come up here and say, oh, we'll make it about this big right now. Can always make it bigger. It's easier to make it bigger, a little harder to make it smaller. So we say spores. And we'll do it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I like that these filters are just... It's a simple and repeatable pattern that I can use throughout the factory. There we go. Just in case we ever... Yeah, we'll just leave it ragged like that. That's fine. Alright, so now any spores that come up, they should go in here and collect in this chamber. Which way do I have this going? I have it going that way. That's fine. I'm also going to do this. So now when the spores fall in here, they're going to land on the conveyor belt, and they're going to move over here, and then they're going to hit this launcher, be lifted up and tossed. And then if you place a gap of 3 and a launcher in the same direction, then the stuff's going to sort of jump from launcher to launcher and end up falling down on this side. It's not perfect. When the launcher throws, there's a bit of a randomness, like a spread. So most of it's going to hit this launcher and jump. But some of it's going to fall early or late and rain down. So we get sort of an even rain. A big long box with a whole lot of these, you get a pretty decently even spread of the material raining down. Keeps it from piling up on one side or the other. So now I can add a allow only spores. Do that. So now when spores fall in, oh no, I want to allow everything but spores. Block everything, or allow everything block spores. And replace. Now notice one of them is red. And that is because there's a little bit of material there behind that block. So when you hold down Control here to replace, that one did not get replaced. So I'm going to delete it and create it. When you shift to your grabber tool and hover over a filter, you can see what the filter is. Allow everything except spore. Allow only gold. And up here was burnt slag, and over here is the wet sand. Alright, so I just got to toss this stuff up there by hand. And actually, the gold one is still a conveyor belt, so I'm going to send it off this way. Oop. Did I replace it with the wrong thing? I did. Oops. I am just making all sorts of misclicks here. I guess I'll just do it by hand now. I was going to sort of automate it so I can walk away, but no, I misclicked. Gotta be very careful when you've got materials in the system not to delete the floor or some piece of vital infrastructure. Oh yeah, I said I was going to do something over here, and what I was going to do, allow only selected element gold. That's what I wanted there. And that was what I wanted over here, because steam can go through filters. But I was thinking about it, and that isn't perfect, because if this is packed with gold, the gold would block the steam. Now that's okay, because I can just do this, and the steam will collect here and not go anywhere else until the gold passes by. But this is a game about solving logistical problems. So there's another way we could do it. And that is to do a bit of a toss. Oops, wrong way. And I am still going to block that off. Alright, so what do we got here? Steam will come up and have a free passage up. If gold comes along here, it's going to get thrown through the air and onto this conveyor belt. The act of throwing sort of spreads it out. It should always make enough room for steam to come out. So we should be able to have as much gold as we want. And if I raise that a little bit, it'll give it a bit more room for big piles of gold to come by. But maybe not quite that big. Let's stop it like that. And actually, let's make that a solid wall. So gold comes along here. If it's taller than this, then the top part will get pushed off onto the back of the pile. It'll get tossed over this gap and continue on its way. But there'll definitely be room for steam to come up. And you know, I think just for safety, I'm going to add a little bit more. And then... Whoops. There. So steam will come up. It'll go straight up that way. All right. Now we need to go get some lava. And that'll be probably the last thing we do in this episode, because it's getting on towards the end. Oh, down here. Did we get enough? Oh, we did get enough money. All right, so tools. Oh, that's the cryoblaster. Did I already get the rocket monster? No, vacuum. Guns. Guns is what I want. Rocket launcher, that's 3,000. Oh, we're a little farther away. I don't think we can get to the lava without the rocket launcher. But you know, I don't quite remember. So let's just do a beeline towards it and see. I want to go... Oops. Had the wrong tool active. I'm stuck on a piece of fluxite. There we go. I'm stuck. Oh, we've got some ice here. Okay, so going this way, I think I do need the... I definitely need the flamethrower that way. I think if I go the other way, I mean, not the flamethrower. I do need the flamethrower to get through that ice. Got that. I think I need the rocket launcher to get farther. So let's block some of this off. Temporarily seal it. Seal up some of these little holes. So we're going to make a lot of water here as we melt the ice, and I can get rid of the water by turning it into steam. I need to do that. So there's some steam. Little holes there. Just sort of block off all the holes that can hold on to steam. Yep. And here's some of the ice that turns into snow. Is that called? Oh, it's frost bed, and this is ice. So it's the frost bed I need to get rid of. I never actually looked at the name of that one. You can see as the snow falls into water, it turns into more ice. And flamethrowing snow does not turn it into water, it turns it into steam as well. So, two ways to make more steam. There's a little pocket up here. Let's do this to prevent it from collecting more. The flamethrower does work on the... What was it called? Frostbed. But it's a little slow, as you can see. Turning it to snow first by blasting it works a bit better. And then you can melt the snow pretty quickly. Looks like we're going to have a lot of steam generated here, so let's make it go where I want it to go, which is up through those pipes. See, now if you come down to the water and go diagonally through, or, horizontally through it, it converts to steam so much faster. Oh, and looky there. There's where we came out of the tunnel. So now we've connected those. And this stuff will actually burn. If we set it afire, it'll slowly spread. But I'm just going to dig with my sand blaster. It's like I said, if I can, I'd really like to get some lava. Oop, I can also go for some fluxite. I've never done a beeline like this before. Oop. Nice big patch of fluxite. Ah, we made it. So you can get to the lava without needing the rocket launcher. Good. Alright. But we do need this one. The cryoblaster, which we do have enough money for. So we'll grab that and switch to it. Cryoblaster. Now, there's no damage in this game, which I like. It doesn't cost anything to build because, hey, building is the purpose of the game. It shouldn't cost you anything to do it. That's the fun part. And we're not in the era of insert quarter to keep playing, which is when I grew up. It was all arcade games. And that mentality in the video game industry just sunk in so deep that even these days you have health and life and extra lives and just that sort of killing you off made sense in the eras of... Sorry, I'm ranting here. It made sense in the eras of quarters, insert quarters to play. But there are so many other mechanics we can use these days. So I'm glad this game doesn't have health and I can't die. Nobody likes dying. Die, lava! Die! Well, at least freeze. The cryoblaster makes snow. That's a lot. I love the sound. Good sound effect. That's a fun sound. Oh, you know? Darn it. We think we need the rocket. Can we break this at all? Or is it just slow, or... Oh, good. We can. It's just rather slow using our tool. The rocket launcher is a much faster way to break this stuff. So we use the cryoblaster to freeze it. And then we break it, and we get this stuff. Cinder. So I'm going to get a bit of it here. I need a bit more than that. Alright, well, I've got a good little pile of it here. Just one problem. I'm pretty deep in the mines, and I can only carry this much of it at a time. So, to get it out, I either have to build a set of conveyor belts all the way back to the base, or carry it out bit by bit. But, since the episode is about to end, I'm going to do the carrying one, and I'm going to do it off camera. Because I want you to see the building of all the scaffoldings to get down here like we were doing before. Even if it's in fast forward, like some of what I'm doing. So, until next time, this is Nonsanity signing out. Take care, be good, and see you next time. Ah, warm.